Long live the Queen.
After 70 years, recently becoming the second longest reigning monarch in history, Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom has died at 96 years old. Prince Charles is next in the line of succession, a British tradition maintained since 1689. Her Majesty was under no illusions that she would be around forever. In fact, preparation for the event of her passing began as early as the 1960s, with updates being made every 3 years.
This moment has been long anticipated, given her long reign and her own sense of importance. All of the transitional arrangements have been very well established and will now be put into practice.
Here is the most up-to-date plan, codenamed Operation London Bridge. In the hours after the Queen's death is confirmed, calls are made to the Prime Minister, that's Liz Truss, with the code phrase, "London Bridge is down." It may seem silly, but it's a momentous event, considering this monarch had reigned alongside 15 prime ministers, 14 US presidents, and countless other world leaders. This day is known, at least internally, as D-Day, and what follows are 10 days of pomp and circumstance to mourn and prepare for the new ruler. First, the royal household notifies the public, and any parliament business is adjourned until the funeral is held. The Prime Minister then makes a statement on behalf of the government. The Ministry of Defence plans gun salutes at all the saluting stations, and a minute of silence is called nationwide. After meeting with the Prime Minister, the new king, now King Charles, delivers a broadcast memorialising his mother. Meanwhile, St. Paul's Cathedral holds a small, spontaneous remembrance service. The next day, an Ascension Council meets at St. James's Palace to proclaim the next monarch, King Charles in this case. Parliament begins planning their message of condolence and gives their tributes in the House of Commons. Her Majesty's coffin is taken to Buckingham Palace. Because she died at Balmoral, her estate in Scotland, it's on to Operation Unicorn, since the unicorn is Scotland's national animal. A royal train takes her to London, and if a train isn't possible, a plane transfer is ready, codenamed Operation Overstudy. After receiving a motion of condolence, which is like a royal offering of sympathy, King Charles tours the UK, arriving at the Scottish Parliament first. Then, the next day to Northern Ireland for an Irish motion of condolence. The same day, over in London, Operation Lion is in rehearsal stages, where the Queen's coffin is carried from Buckingham Palace to the Palace of Westminster. It's procession day, followed by a service in Westminster Hall. For the next 3 days, millions are expected to visit her temporary resting place for 23 hours each day. Meanwhile, a funeral rehearsal is held, preparing for every possibility as political figures from all over the world congregate in England's capital. The funeral is expected to be held at Westminster Abbey 10 days after her passing, along with a nationwide 2-minute moment of silence at noon, after which Her Majesty is buried in Windsor Castle's King George VI Memorial Chapel. The coronation of King Charles III, the official crowning ceremony, will likely take place the year following these events.
But the royal family will no doubt be well prepared from, if I can use the term, an operational point of view, to go into action and do whatever is necessary to sustain the monarchy and to sustain the confidence of the British people.
What happens next for the British monarchy? Only time will tell. But there's no doubt that Queen Elizabeth's passing will mark the end of an extraordinary era in world history.
The torch has been passed. For people like me, she represents an important, formidable figure. But for younger people, perhaps represents more like the great aunt or the grandmother of the family, and the torch is now being passed, I think perhaps not just to one generation, but to 2 generations of royals, both King Charles and Prince William by his side.